Grade 6 CBSE Chapter 10 The Banyan Tree by Ruskin Bond. Solutions. Summary and question answers. The Banyan Tree Summary. Part 1. His grandfather's house. The boy lived with his grandfather in Dehradun. There was a grand old banyan tree in the garden of that house. He enjoyed sitting in that tree. From there, he used to spy on the world below. Since the grandfather could not climb the tree, it belonged only to the boy. Second paragraph. The friend squirrel. There was a squirrel. It became his friend only when it became certain that the boy had no catapult or air gun. Later, when the boy started to bring him pieces of cake and biscuit, the squirrel was soon taking morsel from his hand. In the spring, all kinds of birds flocked into its branches, and the tree became the noisiest place in the garden. The boy had built a crude platform on the tree where he spent the afternoons when it was not too hot. Sitting there, he had read many books. Thus, the banyan tree served the boy as a reading room. Mongoose and Cobra. When he did not feel like reading, he looked at the world below. On one such afternoon, he saw the famous fight between a mongoose and a cobra. The encounter, part 2. It was very hot afternoon. The narrator saw a big black cobra coming out of a cactus. At the same time, a mongoose emerged from the straight for the cobra. In a clearing beneath the banyan tree, they stood face to face. Clearly, there was to be a battle of championship. Preparing for the battle. The cobra was about 6 feet long and the mongoose about 3 feet. The cobra spread his broad hood and the mongoose bushed his tail. Besides the boy narrator, there was a myna and a crow looking at the battle. The battle begins. Mongoose made a pretended move to one side. The cobra struck. However, before it could touch him, the mongoose had jumped to one side. While doing so, he also bit the snake on the back. A few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back. There were many such rounds, and every time the mongoose was a victor. During one such round, the crow came in between and became a victim of the snake bite. Cobra was killed. The cobra was gradually weakening, ultimately raising himself on his short legs. The mongoose had a big snake by the snout. The snake made its last attempt to fight, but in vain. When it had ceased to struggle, the mongoose gripped it round the hood and dragged it into the bushes. Now, working with the text, page number 131. The old banyan tree did not belong to the grandfather but only to the boy because, check out the answers, because the old man was not strong enough to climb it. The small gray squirrel became friendly when it found that the boy carried no catapult or air gun in his hand. Third question. When the boy started to bring him pieces of cake and biscuits, the squirrel became bold enough to take pieces of food from his hand. Fourth one. In spring, the banyan tree was full of small red figs, and birds of all kinds would come there. Fifth question. The banyan tree served the boy as reading room when he had made a rough platform to sit and read books. Sixth question. The young boy spent his afternoons in the tree learning against the tree, reading storybook, leaning against the tree, reading storybooks. Now B, answer the following. First question. It was to be a battle of championship. What qualities did the two champions have? Pick out words and phrases from the paragraph above this line in the text and write them down. Mongoose, a great fighter, very clever and swift, made calculated move. Cobra, skilled and experienced champion fighter, had a broad hood and poisonous teeth, swift in speed and attack. Now, the second question: what did the cobra and the mongoose do to show their readiness for the fight? Cobra produced a hissing sound to challenge the mongoose to a fight. It raised 3 feet of its body off the ground. It spread its broad hood. The mongoose bushed its tail. The long hair on its back also stood up. Second question: who were the other two spectators? What did they do? Did they watch or did they join in the fight? In addition to the narrator, the two other onlookers of the fight were a myna and a wild crow. First of all, they sat on the cactus plant to watch the outcome of the fight. In the end, they took part in the game. Both tried to pick up the cobra for their meal. The crow got bitten and died. The mongoose dragged the snake away into the bushes. Myna also flew away. Now read the descriptions below of what the snake did and what the mongoose did. Arrange their actions in proper order. First one, ceased to struggle. Tried to mesmerize the mongoose. Coiled itself around the mongoose. So, just check it out. Ceased to struggle. Grabbed the snake by the snout. Tried to mesmerize the mongoose. Dragged the snake into the bushes. Coiled itself around the mongoose. Darted away and bit the cobra on the back. Struck the crow. Struck again and missed. Pretended to attack the cobra on one side and refused to look into snake's eyes. Now, fifth one, struck on the side that the mongoose pretended to attack. Sprang aside, jumped in and bit. Now, fourth question, what happened to the crow in the end? What did the myna do finally? In the end, crow got bitten by the cobra and it fell dead. The myna flew in the ground, looked into the bushes, gave a shrill cry, and flew away. Now, working with language, page number 133. The word round usually means a kind of shape. What is its meaning in the story? The word round in the story means the second course of a fight. Find 5 words in the following paragraph which are generally associated with trees. So read the paragraph and underline the words. The answers possibly are leaves, branch, fruit, root and bark. Now the words in the box are all words that describe movement. Use them to fill in the blanks in the sentence below. Right? What are the words? Dived, gliding, sprang, darting, whipped back, delving. First one, when he began to trust me, the squirrel began delving into my pockets for morsels of cake. First one answer is delving or to delve. Delving is given, so you can follow that. Second one, I saw a cobra dash out of the clump of cactus. Gliding out of the clump of cactus. Second one answer, gliding. Third, the snake hissed his forked tongue, darting in and out. Darting in and out. Third answer is darting. Fourth one, when the cobra tried to bite it, the mongoose sprang aside. Mongoose sprang aside. And the fifth one, the snake whipped his head back to strike at the crow. Whipped is one and the next one is back. And the sixth one, the birds dived at the snake. The birds dived at the snake. Find the words in the story which show things striking violently against each other. The cobra struck the crow, his snout thudding, thudding against his body. The crow and the myna collided, collided in midair. The birds dived at the snake but bumped. B-U-M-P-E-D. B-U-M-P-E-D is the answer for the third one. Bumped into each other instead. Look at these sentences. A picture is shown here. Would tell us what the author used to do. Could tell us what the author was usually able to do or what used to happen. Now, grandfather is now not able to do. Grandfather is now not able to do. Choose would and could to replace the italicized word in the following sentence. Grandfather says, in the old days, elephants were able to fly in the sky like clouds. They were also able to change their shapes. They used to fly behind clouds and frighten them. People used to look up in the sky in wonder. So observe these sentences and replace all these with could or would. Next is speaking. Look at these sentences. Tree was older than grandfather. Grandfather was 65 years old. How old was the tree? Can you guess? The tree was as old as Dehradun itself. As old as Dehradun itself. Suppose Dehradun is 300 years old. How old is the tree? When two things are in the same way, same in some way, we use as dash as. So another set of example is given. Mr. Sinha is 160 centimeter tall. Mr. Gupta is 180 centimeter tall. Mrs. Gupta is 160 centimeter tall. So you can observe that Mr. Sinha and Mrs. Gupta are of the same height. So Mrs. Gupta is as tall as Mr. Sinha. So keep that in mind and complete that. Writing part. Now read again the paragraph of the story in which the author describes the banyan tree and what he used to do there. Is there a place in your house or in your grandfather's or uncle's or aunt's house that you especially like? Write a short paragraph about its saying, where it is, what you do there, why you like it. You may instead write about a place you dislike or afraid of. Now we selected my favorite place. You can write on your own. My favorite place is in the house is either the balcony or the cemented platform built around the stem of the peepal tree. I used to sit in the balcony to enjoy the sunshine on winter days and the cool breeze on the summer mornings. I learn my lessons and even do my homework there. I like it because it is an isolated, quiet and open place. No more questions. Why did the speaker find the banyan tree exclusively his own? The old banyan tree became the narrator's own property because his grandfather was too old to climb it. What did the speaker do while hiding himself in the banyan tree branches? The author used to read storybooks and watch the world below. When did the banyan tree become a noisy place? The banyan tree became the noisiest place in the garden during the fig season. Where did the author usually spend his afternoons? Author usually spent his afternoons on the platform he had built halfway up the tree. What exciting scene did the author enjoy from his platform in the banyan tree? The author enjoyed the fight between a mongoose and a cobra, the battle of two champions. What trick did the mongoose apply to overpower and kill the cobra? He first bit the snake twice on the back. When the cobra was tired, the mongoose caught it by snout. Finally dragged the dead snake in the bushes. Creatures who lost their life is cobra and crow. So long answer, you check it out and finish your classwork. You can pass question number 1 and now question number 2. That's all. Thank you, dear.